Hello, everybody. It's me, Pacific. And I was thinking, I'm having so much fun making videos that I think it's only fair if I deal with American males. I've dealt with women, and they would think that I'm a little biased and chauvinistic if I don't make some comments about a lot of what I see in American men. So let's do the disclaimer. Number one, not all American men are what I'm describing. There's some good American men. They're actually men. Love their wives, hard workers, honest people, great stuff. Okay, so let's begin. What is my problem with most American males? Let me start with my childhood growing up. Let me tell you what I grew up with. I was adopted. I grew up with a very passive father. And the only time that he ever really showed any emotion was when he got angry and exploded. Now, I admit, I was a handful. But the reason I say this, I grew up with a woman who wore the pants in the family. And I seem to have come into contact with a lot of women who really try hard to wear the pants in the family. And as I dealt with in my video yesterday with women and wanting to be on the top and the alpha female and all that crapola, I grew up in life, was made fun of for the thick glasses. I was teased a lot because I was a squirrel and I was hyper. But one of the things that I was made fun of for the most, I was small. I was small in school and I was not out in sports. Not until my junior year when I went out for cross country. Excuse me, I take that back. Would have been my sophomore year. I was never into football, never into basketball. Golf was too boring for me. I liked hitting things with a stick, but not for trying to aim for some little hole about 3 miles away. I like taking sticks and, pinatas. Now, those were fun. Bash, bash, boom, boom, and candy falls out. I was not a sports guy. I grew up in a family where the men laid on their bellies after holidays watching football. And I give my dad credit. He tried to teach me sports. And after I got hit with the club and the ball thrown in my face, I finally said, this is just not for me. And it's funny. I've never been a Nazi about anything. I'm not one of those bicycle Nazis that wears all that weird, fruity advertisement, skin tight wear and a little matching helmet. And those guys are nuts, man. Nuts. I have nothing against bikes. I had a Raleigh. I wore my jeans and my t shirt and I rode that bike all over. And my calves were as strong as any cyclist's calves are any day, hands down. I went up grades like this up till 10,000 feet, and I just would go and do that as a teenager. Pedal 3 miles away from my house and go from 8,000 feet to 10,000 feet and just blow that off like it was nothing. On a heavy steel Raleigh bicycle, not a titanium frame. But I'm getting off my subject. American males, they have a love for pro sports, they have an obsession with the tough man image, the Budweiser and the beer image. And I've got a problem with that. Males in America, let me clarify something. Just because you drive a Dodge diesel dually and you drink beer and you wear your hat on backwards and you're advertising your favorite football team on the back of your truck and have a gun rack in the back window does not make you a man. You may be male, but that doesn't make you a man. I have found that most American males, their pickup truck is an extension of their penis. You heard me. Why do I say that? Most American males are very insecure. If you don't believe me, watch them at traffic lights, especially the ones with the loud pickups. They have to floor it. They have to rev it. They've got their hand over the wheel like this. I have found that that's not even a comfortable way to drive. But what they're doing is posturing. American males are very insecure. Very insecure. I've done some experiment. I like to take my shirt off, drive around, got my arm out the window. My truck's got a throaty sound. It's got glass packs. I don't rev it. I don't squeal the tires, and I don't put it to the floor. 9 times out of 10, any male that pulls up next to me, I don't even turn my head. I can see him out of the corner of my eye. I can feel it. That light changes, and they gun it and go. Then they look in their mirror and see that I didn't take the bait, and they're going, oh, he didn't race me. I have nothing to prove, man. I like who I am. I like my truck, and my truck is not an extension of me. I like it. It fits me, but I don't need a Dodge diesel doofus mentality. Sorry. Pro sports, they get paid too much. We make such a premium about them. I've watched grown men act like complete babies when their team loses. They get so angry, they're yelling and cussing at the TV. I watch people in my own family do this, yelling at them. I watched people in my own family that were overweight and couldn't even run, let alone catch a football, yelling and screaming at the team they were supposed to be rooting for. I watch American males and the way they treat ladies. I am starting to realize why a lot of American women are hard. Ladies, this is your turn in the sun now. I've been pretty hard on you. A lot of men don't know how to make love. How do I know that? Women talk to me. Most of my friends all my life have been females. I'm not gay. I like women because I can talk to them. Oh yes, females frustrate me too. They got their issues. I already dealt with that in a few videos past. But American males, most of them can't hold a conversation beyond, oh, what do you got on the hood of that car? Oh, did you see that great play? And then you see the men walking around and they like to do this, especially what I call the corporate spackies. They shave their head and they got their suit and tie and they go, and they got that whole, gonna snap my neck and the whole macho peacock strut thing. And I want to go up with a little pin and poke them and watch the air go. Shh. Men are very insecure in our culture. So insecure that if somebody is not into pro sports and they're into classical music, ballet, or writing, or the arts, they call them gay. Interesting. I mentioned Mr. Rogers yesterday. I grew up in a male culture, and we all put Mr. Rogers down, said he was gay. Surely he had to be, because he talked so soft-spoken. When he died, I read his story. The guy was as macho as they come, but he never wore it on his sleeve. No scandal, no cheating on his wife, no inappropriate behavior with children, and he ran a children's TV show for over 30 years. And there was not one piece of garbage that could be thrown at Mr. Rogers. He was in the military, he swam, he worked out, and he was a minister, and he loved his wife, and was very good with kids. I find most American men to be, on the one hand, complete spineless wussies that don't stand up and take leadership roles, or I find the men that are loudmouth, that every other word is the F word, and they think by raising their voice and yelling and peacocking makes them a man, another proof of insecurity. I find most American males to be complete idiots on America's roads, especially those that buy the big pickup trucks and SUVs. Here's what I see American men do. No turn signals, no complete stop at a stop sign, tailgating, and bullying cars out of their way. They use their vehicle as a bullying weapon. I see it every day. I'm in the right lane driving. They'll roar up on my tail. They get out over that line so that when I look in this mirror, I can look and see them, and they're glaring. It's amazing how insecure American males are. If you don't believe me, watch the way they act and watch television in America. Watch the ads and the way they cater to the male stupid mentality. Watch the beer ads. They don't show an average guy sitting in there. They show the tough guy, the big macho guy, flanked on either side by big busted bimbo women, and I wish the beer commercials in the US would actually show the inside of a real working bar and show the women and what they look like after they've drank and smoked for years. And the 40-year-old men, I'm 46, most 40-something-year-old men with big pot guts, looking like slobs, dressing like slobs, and then they think they're cool as they're rolling down the highway in their rolling piece of junk, blowing red lights, driving like a fool, all this with their children in the front seat. Good example, American males. Way to go. I don't like most American males. I don't befriend most American males. I have tried all my life, and I find that they revert very quickly to the following. They revert to what I call a pecking order. They like to immediately get into put downs to make themselves feel good. I had a good friend for years, and all he could do was belittle, condescend, and be rude. And I was insecure. I valued his so called friendship, and then after 13 years, I finally woke up and said, "What am I doing? This guy doesn't like me. I would rather have no friends and be right and live with myself than hang out with a bunch of guys trying to be cool, trying to fit in when it's just not my thing." I drove down Colfax in Denver today. I like to drive up and down it because it's a 30-plus mile continuous stretch of literally a cross section of America. And the thing that's sad, I see everything out there. And the things that I see are disgusting. American males with their pants down, their butt crack showing, hat on backwards, screwing women, and they think they're tough and they think they're cool. Sloppily dressed, unshaven faces, walking around with the whole attitude. It's amazing. American men don't seem to lead their children very well. They push them into pro sports, push them into, you know, being macho. And it's really sad. But then we've got another group of American males that are letting their women run all over them, and they are wussies. I'm not going to use the other word. They're spineless little milquetoast guys that get in their SUV and act like a complete monster on the road, but they're nothing. Then you got what I call the corporate spackies, the 20-year-olds on up that are the professionals that shave the head and got the suit and the tie and, "Hi, how you doing?" And they're full of so much doggy dookie that it's not even funny. Completely plastic, completely false. I see it in dealerships, truck salesmen, car salesmen, salesmen of all kinds. They come up and they condescending. They're too stupid to realize that we see it and see right through them. All they care about is making a sale. They don't care about us. Now, there are exceptions. There's some good salesmen out there, but most of the sales guys, they're fake. I see it all the time. I like the guys that wear the suits and ties. They brag that they got a degree in 4 years, 6 years. I look at my cousin. He went to medical school. He's a pediatrics, and he has no common sense whatsoever. And I look at every one of these guys that got degrees in suit and ties. I'm a commercial driver. I have no tickets. And I watch these guys, and they don't know how to drive. They don't follow the rules. They don't use their turn signal and their courtesy. So a college degree with males and females makes no difference in how they drive. And yet, if you look on any dating site, men and women are wanting somebody with a degree. Why? Last time I checked, in 2008, the degreed males in America got us into the subprime mortgage scandal, AIG, Bank of America, and all the other fiascos that went on. This is interesting. This is telling about American males. Let's talk about American politicians. What a joke. Patting their wallets, voting themselves a raise. You call that leadership? Congress? Senate? You guys are a joke. You guys don't live by ethics. You don't live by principle. And you're sure as heck not representing the people that voted you in. At least it doesn't appear to be that way. But American males are obsessed with their SUV, their big pickup, getting into debt and promoting getting into debt instead of living within their means, and promoting pro sports and yelling and screaming at a football game with their beer. If a man stands up and says he loves Jesus Christ or is into God, they call him a fanatic. But these same people will put on Broncos war paint on their face, take off their shirts, yell and scream, and pour beer all over their head and say there's nothing wrong with that. You got to be kidding me. American males are wonderful after we've won a Super Bowl in Denver, Colorado, and then they tear up the town and riot and smash and break everything. Most American males, if it wasn't for government and police, they would probably tear each other apart. I watch this every day. American males hide behind a veneer of complete superficiality, and it's sad. I've got a lot more I could say about this, but I find that a lot of women in America are very jaded because of us men. Men are abusive, men are verbally abusive, and women are becoming that way too, so it's not just the guys. But what is interesting to me is American men don't know how to make love. They think making love is something they can do rough and be hard on their wife instead of being gentle, passionate, and sweet on her. A lot of American men don't know how to romance a woman at all. They'll say all the right words just to get in bed with her, but after that, the party's over. I find most American men that the only thing they seem to think that they can do is flex their muscle, yell and scream, and think they're tougher than every single other man out there. I was in traffic the other day and some idiot in an SUV was coming down the highway doing dumb stuff. Almost caused an accident with me, almost caused an accident with others, no turn signals, this, whatever. I had had enough, and I stuck my finger up, which I shouldn't have done. This guy backs up in traffic on a state highway, not in a lane, in the middle of a thing that wasn't even wide enough, starts screaming and yelling. I had my radio up loud, and all I did was look at him and start speaking in Filipino. And he's just going, threatening me, and I'm just looking at him going, what is it about the American male that they just automatically assume that they can take down any competition? I didn't threaten him. I didn't honk my horn. I had my finger resting on the mirror. Yeah, it was wrong for me to do that, viewers. I don't advocate that, but I'd had enough. American males harass me every day on the roads. And I say that because I am a good driver. I yield the right of way, I stay to the right, I go the speed limit. American males are very impatient. And I watch this guy yell and scream. Then the light changed, traffic started to move, I start to move. He goes to the left turn lane. But because he couldn't stand the fact that he couldn't get me to shake and fear. And I just yelled at him in Tagalog and just looked at him and said, you need to get a life, dude. He pulls up in that left lane, but just before he turns, he jerks onto my lane, faking like he's going to hit the side of the truck in a brand new SUV with no plates on it, temp tags only. I see this crap go on every day. That was one altercation that some idiot was with me, but I watch these people do it in front of me all the time. Males' egos doesn't quit. They think that they can beat up and take on anybody, and the stupid thing is, that guy doesn't know if I had a pistol under my seat. He doesn't know that I could get out and deck him in the next week. And this is what I hate about the American male. Their ego never stops. I listen to guys all the time. I could take him down. You know that for sure, partner? I've gotten to the point now where if any male tries to come after me, I'll use whatever I can, even if it's a tire iron, a 2x4, or a rock to the face. I don't need to fight fair when my life's in jeopardy. I have nothing to prove. I don't carry a gun. I don't threaten people. But I see people posturing and threatening others, and it's happened to me on occasion. I looked at a guy once who was harassing me at a factory. Day after day after day. I was doing my job. He was not my boss, and the guy was just a jerk. I stopped what I was doing. I turned around. I said, look, if you're going to kick my butt, do it now. Get it over with. Shut up. He goes, what? You're nuts. I said, no, you're nuts. You want to keep threatening me? You want to keep telling me you can kick my butt? Do it. Or shut up. Never bothered me again. Because I said, even if you kick my butt, which you most likely can because you're twice my size, what difference is that going to make, Lee? We ended up becoming friends. I ended up buying a van from him. But even after that, he said, I can't believe you stood up to me like that. American males, you're not all that. You need to learn how to drive, and you need to learn how to respect people. And if you cannot respect people on the roads, and you can't respect your fellow Americans, and you got to be dirtbags and make comments and rude to fellow Americans, you're a worthless piece of walking garbage. And you heard me. And I know that the trolls will get on here and give me all the FU comments. I screen all comments. They must meet my approval. So before you start writing furiously, if it's FU and it's nothing but put downs, it goes in the ignore trash can. If you got something intelligent to debate with me, I'll post it even if you disagree. I know a lot of men work hard and they try to provide for their families. My hat's off to them. But just because you were in the Marine Corps, and I want to address this, I know many men in the American Marine Corps, and they come out of there and they try to act like a Marine Corps guy in the job place. Not the place for it. We're civilians. We're not in the military, and you don't need to run things that way. I find a lot of Marine Corps guys to be very insecure and wear that all over their sleeve. I also support my country, and I wasn't in the military. My hat is off to our veterans. But just because you were in the Marines doesn't mean you're better than me. Sorry, I support my country, and I try to stand here and make a difference on this home front by doing what the laws of our land state. Down in Colorado Springs, I watched the Air Force Academy cadets come out of there with uniform on in their SUVs. Little brats. They're not following any of the laws on the road whatsoever, driving like idiots. But on base, they think they're just godly people. We got a problem, males. I'd like to see men actually become men. I'd like to see a man have the guts to go the speed limit, use his turn signals, and drive right. Most can't do it. Most men give in to peer pressure. That's why alcohol and drugs is on the rise. You want to fit in and be cool? If you don't follow the Denver Broncos, you don't follow the latest baseball team, basketball team, whatever, if you don't listen to loud and foul rap music, that's another thing. Men think that they're cool with this rap music and this hard rock. This stuff is garbage. I find most men are not macho at all. It's a veneer that they hold up. And I find that most of these men, there's some men that are silent and could slug them into next week. But American males have been empowered by the materialistic, media-driven society that we live in, and everybody in America thinks they're a little god. And they think that whatever comes against their view of what they consider disrespectful, they're all over it. But then those same will disrespect other people's boundaries, and when somebody even honks a horn at them, they're getting ready to jump out of their SUV and throw fists at you. I've said my piece on American males. I've had a lot of female friends that have had black eyes and black bruises on their arms from so-called macho guys. Men that are beating on their wives, you're not men, you're a monster. You're an idiot. You need to be taken out. I don't support violence. I don't support it at all. But I do believe in defending oneself. And I just don't think that hiding behind gun racks, pickup trucks, beer cans, hats on backwards, rap music, and the whole thuggy thing makes you a man. Sorry. This is Pacific's thoughts on it. I'm signing off. Men, grow up, get a grip, and start becoming a real male for a change. And by the way, some of us are sensitive males, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know quite a few women that prefer us. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.